unfortunately, we are putting Clayton on the hot seat a little bit here because that's just
and
how
Clayton
this goes.
Should expect this from us.
Okay, yes. And I will also be putting you on the hot seat. No, I'm kidding.
We didn't do anything wrong this time. Okay, buddy?
You are correct. Yes. No, let's do it. I'm ready for the questions.
Okay, because we do want to talk about the happy stuff as well, but we got to talk about the breakups first. Yeah. What were you thinking breaking up with Rachel and Gabby at the same time?
Yeah, my thought was that after I saw at the rose ceremony where they consoled each other, I thought maybe that's what would happen again. And so that was my thought, was they'll be there for each other. It'll make it a little bit easier. And as I've since seen from the feedback, it would have been a lot better to do it separately. I don't disagree with that. I just made the decision to do it together because I thought it would be best. It was the wrong decision.
Yeah. I think everyone agrees with that. Yeah, it was the wrong decision. And I think because you had expressed, and we've seen this over and over again now, that you expressed that you loved every woman there. Like you told them all you loved them. So it was like, well, if he loves these women, then that's not how you treat people you love. With the respect wasn't really there for them. But I think we saw now that, would you say when you said you were in love or loved all three women, that you maybe had the wrong idea of what that really meant to you? Because you clearly were in love with Susie the most. I don't really think you were in love with Gabby and Rachel.
I would say this. I believed that I was in love. When I told them that's what I believed in that moment. And those feelings were genuine. Since being able to be off the show and really making sense of it, because I was lost and I was confused. I obviously have dated in the real world and have dated one person, but that was the first time I ever dated multiple people at the same time. It'll be the last time I do that. And I definitely was lost. Unfortunately, the collateral damage to that was hurting these women, but those feelings were genuine. I guess looking back now at it, I believe that I had fallen in love with those women, but I was only probably in love with Susie as I look back at it.
Right. That makes, from the viewer standpoint, it felt like, you can love someone because Rachel and Gabby, let's be real, they're both fantastic women. So you can love them, but it really always felt like Susie was the one. And when you said that to Susie, when you guys were having your conversation before Fantasy Suites, that the love for Susie was there the most, what were you thinking when you did fight for Rachel and Gabby to stay? Did it ever cross your mind that if it works with one of these two girls, they're going to have to watch me just tell Susie I love her the most?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would have definitely have answered to that. That would have been a conversation had that been the trajectory that would have ended up being what reality was. The way I saw it was, again, it's like I did have the strongest feelings for Susie. But we knew that like any one conversation could change everything. And I knew that if I did proceed forward, if that's what was meant to be with the other two women after she had originally left, then that was going to be a tough conversation to have. But as people saw, I was honest, very, very transparent, more so than probably most people thought I should have been. But I knew that all this was captured on camera. I'm not a liar. I'm not one to try to dodge what I'm saying. And I knew at the end of the day that I was going to have to be fully accountable. Therefore, those conversations, as tough as they were, I felt like they were necessary to have.
Yeah, and I think that another thing that people are wondering is bringing Gabby and Rachel home to meet your family. And also at that time, you knowing in your head that Susie really was the one and she had left and you were still thinking about her. Did you think that maybe bringing Gabby or Rachel home to your family would spark something there to make you think it was one of them? Or what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, I want to say this because just so everyone understands, and we had talked about this, when I said I was the most in love with her, I still hadn't made up my mind definitively that it was her. I was starting to lean towards that, knowing that we were nearing the end of the journey, but I still saw that there was potential that one conversation could change everything. And so I felt that, okay, she left. I still have two incredible women here. And maybe this is what, everything happens for a reason. I do really live by that. And I thought, okay, like this is what meant to be. So go forward, see if you can potentially, start a future with one of these two women. And after meeting the family, it was really, really great. But then once I was away from them, I realized I couldn't take my mind off of Susie. And at that point, I'm like, you need to let these women know as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it took until this point for you to realize that like you can't go anywhere else besides proceeding forward with Susie. And so at that point, I realized I'm like, I have to break this off now. And I owe it to these women. They do not deserve to have to go through this and be dragged along any longer.